The Hollows echo. In the heart of the small town of Elmsworth, there was a forest that the locals rarely entered. Hollows Forest. It was said that the forest held an echoing secret, a phenomenon that would respond not with sounds, but with messages from the past. Liam, a curious teenager, had heard stories about the Hollows echo from his grandfather. You shout out a question, and instead of your voice bouncing back, you get an answer. From years ago, his grandfather would often recount. But not everyone believed such tales. Many considered them mere myths, created to keep children away from the potentially dangerous woods. However, on a cool autumn afternoon, armed with his insatiable curiosity, Liam decided to venture into the Hollows Forest. He walked past the towering trees, their leaves forming a golden carpet under his feet. After walking for what seemed like hours, he reached a clearing where the trees formed a near-perfect circle. Feeling a mixture of excitement and anxiety, Liam took a deep breath and shouted, "Who was here before me?" He waited, but instead of his voice echoing back, he heard a soft, different voice say, "Samuel, Elmsworth's first mayor." Stunned, Liam gathered his courage and asked another question. "What is Elmsworth's best-kept secret?" This time, the voice took longer to respond. The forest seemed to hum, and the wind rustled the leaves as if whispering secrets amongst themselves. Finally, the voice, now deeper, echoed, "Under the town square lies a chest, holding the original town charter." Liam's heart raced. The stories were true. The Hollows echo did exist. He decided to test it once more, asking a personal question. "Where did my grandfather hide his prized medal?" The response was almost immediate. A gentle female voice, reminiscent of his grandmother's, replied, "Behind the third brick from the fireplace, in your living room." As evening approached, Liam decided it was time to leave the forest. But as he was about to make his way back, he felt a sudden urge to thank the forest. He shouted, "Thank you for your answers." The forest seemed to shimmer, and the familiar voice of his grandfather replied, "Always seek the truth, young one." Liam left the Hollows Forest with a newfound respect for the legends of Elmsworth. When he reached home, he checked behind the brick fireplace, and sure enough, he found his grandfather's medal, a token from a time long ago. News spread quickly in Elmsworth about Liam's discovery, and soon, the Hollows Forest was no longer feared but respected. People began to visit, not to question the past but to appreciate the magic and history it held. Years later, when children would ask Liam about his adventure, he would simply smile and say, "Some mysteries are best experienced, not told." In the town of Elmsworth, amidst all its development and progress, the Hollows echo remained a timeless testament to the past, echoing stories and memories for all who dared to listen. The last symphony of autumn. The leaves crunched beneath Eleanor's feet, each step a reminder of the season's transition. Autumn was her favorite time of the year. It was as if nature was painting the world in shades of gold, orange, and red, before the cold winter took over. Eleanor had always felt a special connection to the music of the seasons. To her, each season had its unique melody. Spring was a delicate lullaby, summer an energetic dance tune, winter a calm and deep hymn. But autumn? Autumn was a symphony. This particular day was special. Eleanor had recently discovered an old violin in her grandmother's attic. The instrument was exquisitely crafted, its wood seasoned by time. It bore the signs of being well played and well loved. Intrigued, Eleanor had taken it upon herself to learn to play the violin. She felt a deep urge to add her own notes to the autumn's symphony. And today, after weeks of practice, she felt ready. Finding a secluded spot by a calm, reflective lake surrounded by trees in the full splendor of fall, Eleanor began to play. The notes seemed to float into the air, melding seamlessly with the rustling of the leaves and the gentle lapping of the lake's waters. A gentle breeze picked up, carrying the notes further, making them dance with the falling leaves. It was as if the very essence of autumn had fused with her music, creating a harmony that was both heartwarming and melancholic. As she played, animals drawn to her melody gathered around. Squirrels paused in their foraging. Birds perched on branches, their usual songs silenced, and even a curious deer ventured close, its gaze fixed on Eleanor. Time seemed to stand still. The world was lost in the embrace of the music. And as the final notes played, a profound sense of serenity enveloped everything. Eleanor gently placed the violin back in its case, her heart full. She left the lakeside with a promise. A promise to return each year, to play her part in the symphony of nature. And even as seasons changed and years rolled by, the legend of the girl who played the last symphony of autumn by the lake lived on. Children would listen in rapt attention, hoping to catch a note in the wind, a testament to the timeless dance between nature and music. The frozen citadel. Long ago, atop the highest mountain peak, stood a majestic fortress entirely made of ice. Its shimmering walls and tall spires glistened under the sun, making it visible from miles away. Legends spoke of the great treasures hidden within its chambers, guarded by ancient magic. But what drew adventurers to it was not the promise of gold or jewels but the challenge of reaching its grand entrance. A brave young woman named Liana was among the many who dreamt of unlocking the citadel's mysteries. Armed with determination and her trusty climbing gear, she embarked on a perilous journey to reach the icy stronghold. As she ascended, the winds grew colder, and the terrain became more treacherous. She often found herself navigating through snowstorms, where visibility was nearly zero. Yet, the image of the glowing citadel in her mind's eye kept her moving forward. One evening, as she set up camp, a soft voice whispered through the gusts. "Why do you seek the citadel?" it asked. Liana, surprised, looked around but saw no one. "I wish to see its beauty up close and uncover its secrets," she replied, speaking into the wind. The voice responded, "Many have tried, but few have succeeded. The path is filled with challenges that test the heart and soul." Undeterred, Liana continued her climb. Along the way, she encountered frozen waterfalls, which she scaled with grace, and deep crevices, which she crossed with the help of her roped hooks. The higher she went, the more she felt the magic of the place enveloping her, warming her from the inside against the external cold. Weeks passed, and finally, after overcoming countless obstacles, Liana stood before the grand entrance of the frozen citadel. Intricate patterns adorned its massive doors, telling tales of old. As she approached, the doors opened, revealing the citadel's inner beauty. Inside, she discovered not gold or jewels but a vast library of knowledge. Scrolls and books from civilizations long forgotten filled the rooms. It was a treasure trove of wisdom. Liana realized that the true value of the citadel was not in material riches but in the knowledge it preserved. She spent days reading and learning, quenching her thirst for wisdom. When it was time to leave, the voice from the wind spoke to her again. You have proven your heart's intent, and for that, you are rewarded. Liana descended the mountain, carrying with her the most valuable treasure, knowledge. She shared tales of her adventure and the wisdom she had gained, ensuring that the legend of the frozen citadel lived on, not as a place of wealth, but as a beacon of learning and discovery. Whims of the wandering wind. In a time before our own, the wind was not just a gust of air but a living, breathing entity that roamed the world freely. People would often say that if you listened carefully, you could hear it whispering secrets of distant lands and forgotten tales. One such tale is about a boy named Elion, who had an unusual connection with this mysterious force. Elion lived at the foot of a vast mountain range. Every morning, he would climb a nearby hill, spread out his arms, and let the wind flow through his fingers, feeling its every pulse and rhythm. To him, it wasn't just air, it was a friend, a confidant. One particular day, while Elion was on his hill, the wind whispered a challenge. Find the place where I sleep, and I shall grant you a wish, it murmured. Intrigued, Elion asked, How will I find such a place? The wind replied, Follow my trail, listen to my song, and let your heart be your compass. With excitement and anticipation, Elion embarked on his journey. He followed the wind's path through dense forests, where leaves danced in its embrace, across vast meadows where the grass swayed to its rhythm, and over cold streams where its touch created ripples. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing moment, Elion felt himself getting closer to the wind's resting place. Along his journey, he encountered various challenges. Once, he had to find shelter from a raging storm that the wind had playfully stirred up. Another time, he had to navigate a maze-like canyon where the wind's voice echoed from every direction, trying to mislead him. But Elion's determination never wavered. He remembered the wind's advice and listened to its song, letting his heart guide him. One day, after what felt like an eternity, Elion reached the summit of a grand mountain. There, he found a serene meadow, and in its center stood a majestic willow tree. Its branches swayed gently, and Elion realized he had found the place where the wind slept. He approached the tree, and as he did, the wind materialized before him, taking on a human-like form. It looked at Elyon with pride and said, "You have proven your worth. Speak your wish, and it shall be granted." Elyon thought for a moment and replied, "I wish to understand the world as you do, to feel its every emotion, and to carry its stories with me." The wind smiled and granted Elyon's wish. From that day on, Elyon became a storyteller, sharing tales of his journey and the world's wonders. He traveled far and wide, and wherever he went, the wind was by his side, ensuring that the stories of the world were never forgotten.